All right, I am back and I have a new mic. Sorry about the bad audio quality over the last number of videos. I've had that mic, previous one, since about 2017, and it just kind of went all wonky on me. And now I have a new mic and I have a better mic, so my audio quality should be better going forward with these videos. But we have lots to talk about today. The new Xbox March update, some really interesting things to go over there. It's a bigger one than usual with some stuff that I think gamers will enjoy checking out. The PlayStation 5 sales charts, not a surprise, but PlayStation gamers like Xbox games. So we will take a look at that. The release schedule, the first party release schedule of this generation has been interesting. I think Xbox and Nintendo have had a pretty strong first party release schedule. PlayStation to me has been very disappointing. And I think that is going to continue with the news that we got today about Naughty Dog's next game, the Heretic Prophet game. So we'll talk about that plus many other things. But before we do continue, if you enjoy daily gaming news, discussions, all that type of content, hit the subscribe button, share the video. I see many of you who do watch on a daily basis, around like 50% are not subscribed. So I would appreciate it if you did hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, let's jump into the news. All right, so we'll start off here and we'll be talking about the Xbox March update. They did put out an update here for Xbox, and there are some interesting things here that they have added. There's some PC stuff, but I think the most interesting thing of all here is going to be the free perks that are there adding with free to play games. So we'll go through it. Here is the Xbox March updates with in-game benefits for free to play games and Xbox Cloud gaming updates and all of that type of stuff. So this is the first thing. You can unlock more in-game benefits for free to play games with Game Pass for some major games out there that people spend a lot of time playing. I mean, we look at the numbers all the time here on this channel as to what are the most played games. And when we talk about exclusives, how those aren't the things that everybody is playing. They're playing games like Fortnite and Call of Duty and League of Legends and Valorant. All of those styles of games are the most played games all the time. And now Game Pass is adding more benefits here for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members. And what they're saying here is that members will be able to unlock cosmetics, characters, in-game currency, and more for additional games, including Heroes of the Storm, Naraka Blade Points, the Finals. Plus, they're adding even more benefits in April of 2025 for games like Call of Duty Warzone and Enlisted. With seasonal content drops, members will always have new benefits to look forward to. So this is going to be ongoing. And I wonder what this would do, how this would differentiate signing up to Game Pass versus playing these games on other platforms, or just trying to get stuff from this that you would get within games like cosmetics. And how big will these additions add to the games? Will they actually be worth having a Game Pass Ultimate account to be able to get the cosmetics or the in-game things that they do add to? That will be very interesting to see when people are trying to decide which ecosystem they want to continue to play these free to play games on. Now, the other thing they are doing here is PC gaming is getting a brand new look on the game bar on PC. You can see a picture of it here. I mean, it just kind of looks more sleek and streamlined. There is that compact mode when you're playing games on PC with the game bar if you want it to not really stand out as much. I like what they've been doing. They've definitely been making it more like an Xbox in a way, but still giving you all those PC performance statistics. They say that players may have noticed the game bar has a fresh new look, and it marks the beginning of several visual enhancements that will be rolling out this week. The update includes a refreshed design for the game bar, various utility widgets, including a home bar, a capture widget, a performance widget, a resource widget, and a widget store. And this is where things get interesting. They've also made improvements to controller navigation within the widget store, ensuring a smoother experience when using compact mode on PCs and Windows handheld. And the reason I say that's where things get interesting, because we are getting this rolled out slowly, but it is giving us that vision as to what we can expect for Xbox going forward, especially when they do eventually end up releasing a handheld. It's going to be that seamless experience across your PC desktop, your Xbox handheld, and then hopefully as well on the Xbox console. Hopefully bring it all really towards a console user interface experience when you are utilizing Xbox, no matter where you're playing, or at least giving you that choice if you want that. Like, for example, what Steam does with their big picture mode, even on your desktop PC, you can get that console experience. I hope that is the future of Xbox, and I think it will be based off everything they have been saying and everything we have been hearing. Now, the other thing they are adding here is for the Xbox Cloud Gaming, seamlessly shifting between games on Xbox Cloud Gaming. They say, and this sounds pretty cool to me, that they are making changes how players go between games, starting with Assassin's Creed Shadows this month. They say previously players would need to return to the xbox.com/play page to switch between games, which you would have to go back. It was like a whole process. It was somewhat slow. But now, when you're playing a game from xbox.com/play, you can directly launch other Assassin's Creed games without needing to return to the homepage. So, for example, if you're playing Shadows, you can directly go to games like Origins and Valhalla and Odyssey and Mirage and stuff, and you'll just jump between them in an easy to play way. I wonder if this will be expanded out across games that are not the same or from the same publisher, if this is going to be able to be done across every single game within cloud streaming, every game within your library that's supported by. I hope that's the case. I hope they're not just restricting it to the single games within the same genre or the same group and the same developers and publishers and stuff like that. And the other thing here, they've added a bunch of new games to the Stream Your Own Games service. So Assassin's Creed Shadows is the big one. If you own this game, you can go ahead and play it on the cloud on any device. They've added Gotham Knights, Party Animals, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Wobbly Life, and then coming soon will be Planet Coaster 2, Planet Zoo Console Edition, Raft, Shredders, The Thing Remastered, and more. So they're slowly adding more and more games to the cloud streaming service that aren't Game Pass games. And I think at some point it will basically be the majority of your library out there. And then newer games that are coming out going forward into the next generation and everything. I think a lot of more of those games will opt in to this service. I hope that they do. And I hope that there is an incentive for them to do it, because a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows that I love jumping into whenever I have time, I can go late at night in my bed, attach my controller to my phone, hit up cloud gaming, and play this game that I own. And it's not just restricted to Game Pass. So there is the March update. This has been a bigger update than some of the last couple of months. There's some cool stuff there, especially with like the in-game free content with games like Warzone and Call of Duty, all that type of stuff. All right, let's talk about PlayStation and Xbox games on a PlayStation, because we see on social media, if you're on gaming social media and you go through and you look at some of the crazy things people love to talk about, one of the things you've seen for years and years and years from PlayStation players is that Xbox games suck. They don't even want to play them. They don't want them, all of that type of stuff. And that clearly is not the case. It's been proven with the previous Xbox games that have dropped onto the PS5 with the games like Sea of Thieves that have been on top of the charts. Forza Horizon 5 is going to be on top of the charts. Indiana Jones is coming out very soon. And that one, I said probably wouldn't be on top of the charts because similarly to Forza Horizon 5, but it looks like it is on top of the charts, or it's near the top, as PS5 players really, really want to play these Xbox games, and they are on top for sales right now, pre-orders from the PlayStation Store. We have this article here from The Verge saying PS5 owners really want to play Xbox games as Microsoft tops Sony's pre-order charts. We take a look at it here, and it says, if you're looking for some solid evidence that Microsoft's strategy to bring Xbox games to PS5 is seeing some early success, look no further than Sony's own PlayStation Store today. The top pre-ordered games in the US PlayStation Store are Indiana Jones and The Great Circle and Forza Horizon 5. And this is the craziest part of it all, is that these are $100 premium versions of both of these games where you get early access to them for games that are already out. Like they could literally just go and sign up to Game Pass, buy it on Xbox, buy it on PC for a cheaper price, but they are willing to pay $100 for premium access to play these games that are already out just a few days early. Craziness there. And this absolutely proves why Xbox is doing this. That they know that they're going to make a ton of money off of the PlayStation Store, off of PlayStation gamers who are willing to go out and spend $100 on games that are already out just so they can play it on the console that they already own. it's very hard to entice people to move away from the platform that they spent thousands of dollars on with a huge digital library of games that they already own, even if the game is available for cheaper somewhere else, which is head scratching, I think, for a lot of people when they do look at that and think about those things. But it does make sense. There is more than just exclusives, than just the brand loyalty that keeps people playing where they play. It has to do with where is their content, where are their friends, where are the things like their achievements, and just abandoning that to go somewhere else is very, very tough. And Xbox is proving that right here, and that their strategy of putting games on PS5 is going to pay off a ton, which means if you're on Xbox, you're an Xbox fan, you have Game Pass, it just funds more titles and content that will be going over to the Xbox platform. So it's really a win-win for everybody at the end of the day. I don't mind this strategy whatsoever, because you're not restricting people from playing games where they want to play it, and gamers are going to be getting more content in the future. So this is great. And again, I'm surprised, honestly, Indiana Jones on top, but it is there. And I say that because from what we saw with the first four games, it was the multiplayer experiences that were on top of the charts, not the single player experiences. They just did not do very well. Indiana Jones, of course, is a very popular IP, but I still do not expect it to be right at the top with Forza Horizon 5, at least for now. All right. Yesterday, we talked about the Game Hubs feature, and I was spot on my video yesterday. I was right there, and I hadn't seen any of this before I made the video, but I was thinking it's a cool feature. It gives you more information about the game that you're playing before you jump into it, because sometimes that info, I stop in the middle of my game to go see it, and if I can see it before I jump in, maybe it'll save me from stopping halfway through my playtime to go and see how much I've played and achievements and all of that type of stuff. But the thing I said that I was going to happen, where was people were going to be complaining about having to press A twice instead of once in order to launch into the game. We see all the outrage about having to press B whenever there are those full page ads for games when you turn on your Xbox. And that's exactly what happened here as well with Game Up. People were giving their feedback as to why they did not like it. And it was basically just having to do more to get into the game. And in fact, Stein here from Xbox, who is the senior social media manager at Xbox, had to address this, saying, I've seen some questions on this. So to clarify, you don't have to do this. It's fully optional and not some forced UI change. Also, the point of testing is feedback. Your A buttons are saved another press. And that's a smart move by Xbox. I would have been shocked if they were going to actually enforce this as the way you had to load up your game. Obviously, that isn't the case, but I'm assuming that if the feedback is good on this and the information that's provided before you launch your game is good, this will be something you can enable, and you're going to just click a button and then you'll have Game Hubs pop up. I will definitely try it. This is something I'll see if it actually improves my overall UI experience. I know it doesn't seem like a big thing, but I knew that was going to be the complaint. That was the complaint, and they addressed it before it got any further, that yes, your A buttons are going to be okay. You probably will only have to press it once, or you will only have to press it once if you choose, in order to launch your game. All right, the other thing here that was pretty cool that happened a few days ago, but we got a video yesterday on it, I believe. It is that Game Informer is back. If you remember Game Informer, a print magazine, they also had their online subscription and everything. They did some great editorials and some great information on games that were coming out, some interviews and stuff. And it was a staple in gaming. And it was sad to see that it was going to be going away. It went away. I forget exactly when. I believe it was last year at some point. It went away out of nowhere. And then they went silent on social media. Everything got deleted. And it was just a big thing here, because it wasn't a long goodbye or anything. It was announced that they were going away and then they were gone. Well, it looks like now they are officially back, which I think is a great thing here for the industry. And what I like about this is that they're still going to be doing their print magazines if you do want to pick up those Game Informer magazines. Here is what happened. They put out this announcement here saying Game Informer is back. And I guess to sum it up, what happened was, the first thing is that the Game Informer as a brand and an outlet was purchased and given a new lease on life. They say the second thing is that the entire team that was working together at Game Informer's closure has returned from editorial to production and beyond. The entire team is back. So people who lost their jobs are now right back to where they were, which is a good thing to see, especially in a few years here where we've just been seeing nonstop layoffs and closures. This is a positive piece of news in that realm. So that's nice. And then they also go on here to explain how this happened. It was Godzilla Games who purchased them, who secured the rights to Game Informer that has allowed them to bring this publication back to life. And they say from the start, the new owners insisted on the idea of Game Informer remaining an independent editorial outlet. And they now operate under an entity called Game Informer Inc. And their intent is to continue to focus on highlighting the coolest games, celebrating the history and legacy of the gaming industry, and shining a spotlight on the creators and players who are charting its future. And then they say that they're very grateful to Gunzilla Games. But you can sign up for more to get more information. They're bringing back the print, they're bringing back the online, all of that stuff. And I'm sure they'll be doing a few extra interesting things here to keep Game Informer alive. But a cool story because Game Informer was definitely something that I checked out. I loved video game magazines back in the day growing up, like the Game Pros and the Electronic Gaming, the Xbox magazine, the PlayStation stuff, the Nintendo Powers. Like it was where you got your game information. And this was kind of the last one that was there with a magazine. And when it went away, it was a sad day, but it is coming back. We were talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows over the last number of days in terms of sales number. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I'm loving Shadows. I think it is a phenomenal game. And I'm also looking forward to what is coming next. And what we know right now about the next game is that it is Assassin's Creed Hexe, but this setting to me sounds very cool. I'm excited about this setting as well. They say the game is expected to be one of the darkest in the series, which is interesting too, and that it is set during the witch trials in the Holy Roman Empire and will be helmed by Ubisoft Montreal. So I can't wait to see this one. From what I understand about the Hex, I believe what they were saying was that this is going to be a smaller version of Assassin's Creed, kind of like Mirage. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong in that, but I believe they were going to move away from the whole huge RPGs for a little bit. And then Hex was going to be another one of those entries that brings you back to like the Mirage style, the smaller Assassin's Creed. Although I will say in Shadows, Naue, the stealth is phenomenal. It gives you the best of both worlds in Shadows. You have the big open world RPG, you have the brawler with Yasuke, and then you have Naue, who you can have some great stealth moments in that game when you're infiltrating different areas on the map. So cool stuff there, but I can't wait to see what they do here with the Holy Roman Empire. That's going to be fun, a fun game, I think, in terms of the setting. Okay, couple more things. We have some more information here on the Lies of P DLC for all of those looking forward to this game. Lies of P Overture. It's 15 to 20 hours to complete. There are new locations, enemies, bosses, and characters. 2 new weapons, the bow and the claws, and it's accessible seamlessly from around chapter 9 of the base game. This is a game I think that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. A lot of people love this one. It's one of their favorite Souls-like games. And then when that DLC was announced, you saw a ton of excitement surrounding it, and you're seeing more about it here. 50 to 20 hours, that's basically an entire new game. This is a big DLC. It's going to bring a ton of content for fans of the game. So they will be pretty happy to see that. Okay, let's talk this because I'm not surprised, but to me, this just basically signals from here on out until the end of this generation, the first party output from PlayStation is disappointing. I mean, we could look back at this generation and we could talk about all the games that are exclusive to the PS5. There are quite a few. You can bring up all of the third party deals and everything, but the reality is from their first party studios, from a first party output perspective, I think this generation on PlayStation has been very disappointing. Remakes, remasters, there's been some big ones put in there here and there, some new IPs. This next game here, the Heretic Prophet, is going to be a brand new IP, but we're not going to see this potentially until 2027, which means what is coming from PlayStation beyond 2025? What's coming in 2026? Maybe Wolverine. Is it going to be basically 1 to maybe 2 games per year from PlayStation before we jump to the PlayStation 6? We have this info here from Jason Schreier saying here that the Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, the new sci-fi intellectual property in development at Naughty Dog, won't be released before 2027. He also goes on to say that The Witcher 4 won't launch before the end of 2026. It's pretty crazy to me. I mean, you look at the PS5, the sales are very good. It is tracking, I believe, higher than what the PlayStation 4 was, which was over 100 million consoles sold. And they haven't really done an insane amount of first party exclusive content for the PS5, which brings me always back to when people are arguing about exclusive selling consoles and you look at the statistics, and the statistics clearly show that they don't, that trying to sell your console now is basically just having to do with brand loyalty, which is cooler. Where are people's libraries locked up in? And when you think about these strategies and how they have shifted throughout this generation, PlayStation included, with putting games onto PC, it all just really makes sense when you look at it from the business perspective. And finally, we'll just end off with this because today is a big day. And by the time you're watching this video, it may have already happened. But just in case you didn't hear about this, and this will remind you to go watch it, Nintendo Direct, there is one today, which is a week before we're getting the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. Nintendo is going hard. They're going to be out here showing off games, focusing on Switch games. I think they're trying to get that record from PlayStation. They're trying to push the Nintendo Switch right now to try to get as many sales out of it before the Switch 2 takes over all of the news headlines, and trying to break the PS2 record of being the best console of all time in terms of sales. I think they can do it, but PlayStation keeps finding sales randomly in the back room under a desk somewhere. So who knows who will actually have the record at the end of the day. But on the video there, guys, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.